Hi everybody, I'm Michael. Today we're going to be talking about the ruby rubber tree and how you can best grow her in your home. So, you ready to dig in? Let's grow! The ruby rubber tree goes by the botanical name Ficus elastica ruby, and she's native to Asia, tropical parts of Asia, and she is a wonderful, wonderful plant for you to consider to grow inside your home. She's known for these spectacular leaves. Now, we've done some videos on our Ficus taniki, which is actually right back here. I'll move out of the way a little bit. That's Big Mama back there. She's very similar looking to the ruby, except that she doesn't get this pinkish, doesn't get as much pink in her leaves. This leaf here is very, very similar, and we'll do a cutaway so you can see the taniki. And we also have a burgundy ficus, and the ruby is kind of a blend of both. And we've done a video actually on how to care for the burgundy ficus as well. And we have her growing over in the other part of our living room, and she's very big. These, by the way, can grow very large inside your home. This one, as well as the taniki and the burgundy, all can get to about 8 feet inside. Outside, these grow down here, have been naturalized to grow down here in South Florida, and these can get massive. We had a burgundy behind our home in Miami Shores when we lived there, and it was easy 60 feet by 70, 80 feet. It was crazy, it was huge. But they actually do well as house plants. So you can grow them outside and inside down here in South Florida. And one kind of cool thing about tropical plants is, if you notice, a lot of houseplants throughout the world that people grow, a lot of them are tropical in nature. So that's kind of cool about living down here in South Florida. Some of the plants that grow inside that we take care and use as a houseplant are also growing outside in our gardens. So, but they all have, different needs depending on how you're growing them. So back to the ruby. Beautiful, beautiful plant. Doesn't have a lot of issues. We'll go into plant care in a minute, but this is a pretty low maintenance plant. It will grow from a central leader here, and these leaves will form off the central stem, and it's just beautiful. The new growth will come out with this red spire here and will unfurl and have this wonderful pinkish hue, and it seems to be like that for all of the, except for the burgundy. Both the ruby and the taniki will get this, and again, we'll zoom in so you can see this pinkish cast to the new growth. We have a taniki that's actually over here, 2 tanikis that we've done a video that we actually, one of our early videos on this channel, we bought them online, and we've tried, and we thought, we said, why don't we give it a go and try to grow these in leca, and they've done extremely well. And the ones that we bought from Etsy were half this size. This one's grown in soil, and those are grown in leca, and they are already, and I'll bring it over and I'll show you a comparison. Those are already just as big as this. It's crazy. So believe it or not, I didn't think that the plant would do very well because it's a tree type and how it would grow in the leca, but they love growing in that semi-hydroponic. So you may know from our channel again that we do, some of our plants are grown in soil and some are grown in leca. But the ruby here is grown in soil, and she's doing fine. She's loving it. But it's just such a pretty plant. It's definitely a conversation piece, that to speak more of the plant characteristic. These leaves, I mean, they're almond shaped and they have this little cool point to them, but they have these like dark green or almost like gray green leaf, the majority, and then you'll have this gray-green mixture in there, and that's similar with the taniki again, and then some white and pink, so it's almost like quad color. They say this is tricolor, but I'm seeing up to 4 colors in the ruby, and it's just, like I can't say it enough. I love it. She's so cute. What we're gonna do now is, now that we've gone over the plant characteristics, we're gonna go over into plant care. On plant care, let's first talk about lighting. Your ruby rubber tree will do best in high light, and that's going to be between 500 and 1,000 foot candles or more. You don't want to necessarily give her any sun, but you could possibly give her some late afternoon sun, like right before sunset. That may help, and so like a west-facing window would be great. That may help your plant get a little more variegation to it. But our Ruby has not been grown on a west-facing wall. She's grown actually near our Burgundy, which is actually facing north, and she's getting medium light. So this plant is adaptable to many different parts of your home. So that's another cool feature of this plant that makes her kind of low maintenance, and that you don't just have to hug her next to a window. But ficuses do tend to want more light. We have actually a grow light helping our Taniki, and she's on the north-facing window here, and she's digging that. So, and our Taniki's grown in the semi-hydroponic or on a plant shelf on the west side, and they love that west sun. So we block the west sun with blinds, but in the evening we open it up right before sunset to get a little bit of color, a little bit of sunlight, and the plant can handle it. But you don't necessarily, the main takeaway I want you to know about lighting is you don't want to shock your plant out, because when you're taking, this is a general grow tip, is that when you're taking a plant from where you purchase them at a big box or a nursery, and you bring them home, they've already been through several different transports. They went from the nursery to the big box retailer to your car and then into your home. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. So you don't want to necessarily put them in an area where they'll shock out. So what I recommend is that when you bring her home, put her in an area where she's just going to get medium light, and then let her get acclimated to the home, and then maybe you can move her to where she gets some more bright light. But again, you can grow her just like we have over here with medium light the whole time, and she'll do fine. Ours is leaning a little bit, so I should have mentioned that. I didn't rotate her enough, so that's another part of plant care that I should follow my own instructions, is that you should rotate your plant every 90 days, so every 3 months or so. So that they don't tend to lean away from a wall or towards the light. So what we'll be doing is when we put her back, she's going to be, if the light source being over here, we're going to face her this way so she starts to grow out. So you want a well-balanced plant, but it's just, I just love this plant. So on soil, if you're doing a soil grown, you want a well-drained loamy mix. And what we recommend for your soil is to use 80% indoor potting mix. And we've done some videos to that effect with a lot of our house plants, but we like, and we do change that ratio depending on the plant. But for this plant, we recommend 80% indoor potting mix, add 15% worm castings, and 5% perlite, and that'll get you to your 100%. And that will create a real loamy mix. That worm casting is great to help add a little bit of nutrients to your soil. And we also recommend adding a mycorrhizal, but we'll go into that when we go into the in-depth written care instructions in a minute. So you can get all this written out, and you can take a screenshot and use that for your needs for your plant. So on soil, that's our ratio of soil mix that we recommend for this plant. And now on watering, we recommend you water your Ficus Ruby every 7 to 9 days. But always use the 2-knuckle rule, where you dig your finger down up to the second knuckle. You can even use your pinky if you prefer, to see how moist it is there. You want to water your plant well, so you want water to drain out. You also want to use distilled water, or water that sat out from your tap that has aired out over a couple of days to get rid of the chlorine. You want to do that generally for all your plants. But for watering, you want to water well and let it drain through. And you don't necessarily want to have it down here in the base, so it gets stale. You can pour that water out. But since these plants are native to tropical Southeast Asia, they do want a little bit higher humidity. Home AC, this will do fine at 30% to speak to that. But if you want to add a little more humidity, you can put inside your outer container here some leca pebbles. And when that water drains through, that moisture will touch these pebbles, and those pebbles will off-gas that moisture back up to the plant and increase your humidity a little bit. So it's like an internal pebble tray. And we've done that. That's a little plant hack that we've been doing with a lot of our plants, and we find that the plants respond pretty well to that. On temperature, do fine. Home AC, well, anywhere from 60 to 80. So whenever if you go out of town and you turn your AC off, the plant's going to do fine. When you come home and turn the AC back on from a vacation, your plant's just going to do great. She's not fussy in that regard. On pests, we haven't had any, thank goodness, because we do have some issues with some plants in our home. We've had spider mite issues, and definitely, and you guys know this from our Hoya videos, mealybugs. But we've had no issues with our ruby or our wonderful taniki back here. No problems with the burgundy. They're really tough. So they're just great plants. One more thing I want to touch base with you on is fertilizing. We recommend that you fertilize your ruby with a 20-20-20 from April through September, and you don't have to fertilize. These are pretty tough, but it doesn't hurt. So we recommend that you don't have. You can even go half strength if you want, but we use a simple Jack's 20-20-20 that has some minors in it, and the plants. We do that for all of our ficus actually, and they respond very well to that. So what we're going to do now is rotate over into written care instructions, and like I said, give you all this written out so you can take a screenshot and have it for your records, and then we'll come back and do a quick summary at the end. All right, let's go on to that step. We want to thank you for stopping by, and we hope this video was helpful. But if you have any thoughts or questions, just leave them in the comment section below, and I'll make sure I get back to you. And until the next video, bye! If you found value in this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We post weekly. Thanks!